Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh says his group is open to negotiating with Israel over the war in Gaza. This comes as Hamas and Israel are set to hold talks in Qatar. However, Haniyeh added that if the negotiations fail, Hamas will go to any length to defend the Palestinian people. Iran will hold its parliamentary election tomorrow. Over 15,000 candidates are competing for 290 seats. 144 contestants are running for 88 seats in the Assembly of Experts, a panel that appoints Iran's supreme leader. Iran's electoral body says over 61 million people are expected to cast their vote. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky attended a security summit in Albania. He met leaders from the Balkan nations and some other European countries as well. Zelensky addressed the summit and urged European leaders to prepare for the threat from Russia. He said, and I quote, "Europe must prepare for Putin's next steps." Clashes erupted between protesters and police officials in Greece's capital city, Athens. Thousands of workers and students demonstrated against the government. Transport services and shops were shut down due to a strike. The protests were organized to mark the one-year anniversary of the country's deadliest train crash, which killed 57 people. Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. visited Australia yesterday. Marcos met Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. The two leaders called for greater bilateral cooperation in the Indo-Pacific region. Marcos and Albanese also pledged to increase the maritime security cooperation between their nations. South Korea has deployed its military doctors to take over duties in private hospitals. This is after President Yoon Suk-yeol declared a nationwide medical emergency. The military doctors will take charge of hospitals abandoned by the doctors who are on strike. At least two-thirds of South Korea's civilian doctors are refusing to work if the government increases seats in medical colleges. Meanwhile, the government has warned the striking doctors that it will suspend their practice licenses. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken welcomed his South Korean counterpart to Washington, D.C. today. The two leaders vowed to enhance bilateral cooperation between the nations. Both leaders also discussed the rising tensions with North Korea and the ongoing war in Ukraine. Former U.S. President Donald Trump will visit the U.S.-Mexico border in the state of Texas. Heavy security arrangements have been placed ahead of Trump's visit. Local residents say they're excited to welcome the former president. Illegal immigration is one of the biggest talking points in the upcoming U.S. presidential election. At least 17 people were killed in an accident involving two buses in the Central American nation of Honduras. Another 14 sustained severe injuries. Security officials say the buses were carrying migrants who were headed to the U.S.-Mexico border. Brazil has deployed genetically modified mosquitoes in the city of Sao Paulo. These mosquitoes kill dengue-carrying female mosquitoes before they reach maturity. This is because only female mosquitoes bite and transmit the disease. Brazil has been battling a dengue outbreak since January. As of now, over 970,000 cases have been reported in the South American nation. 3 aeronautical unions in Argentina went on a 24-hour strike at the Buenos Aires airport yesterday. The protesters demanded a hike in salaries amid rising inflation in the South American nation. The strike forced the cancellation of at least 330 flights. Several hundred international and local travelers were left stranded at the airport for hours. Guinea's trade unions have suspended a nationwide strike that had paralyzed the West African nation's mining sector. This comes after the government released the union's leader, Sekou Jamal Pandessa. Pandessa will now lead the union to resume negotiations with Guinea's military junta over their remaining grievances. This includes a new wage deal with higher salaries for workers and the lifting of internet restrictions. In climate news, severe storms in the U.S. states of Ohio and Michigan caused widespread damage yesterday. Several homes were destroyed throughout Ohio's Clark County. In Michigan's Grand Blanc City, Authorities confirmed that a tornado had caused major damage to an industrial complex and gas lines. Meanwhile, the state of Texas is battling its largest wildfire in history. The blaze has scorched nearly 350,000 hectares of land since Monday. More than 13,000 homes and businesses in Texas were without power yesterday. Officials say the fire has damaged several buildings and killed at least one person. A disaster warning has been issued in 60 counties, forcing thousands of people to leave their homes. In Brazil, a devastating wave of wildfires has hit the northern state of Roraima. This has threatened the livelihoods of indigenous communities living around the Amazon rainforest. An indigenous leader said their community and lands are suffering due to climate change. Recently, a study by Brazil's space agency said wildfires in Roraima have increased by 465% compared to last year. And carbon emissions from wildfires in Brazil, Venezuela and Bolivia have been the highest in any February in 21 years. This is according to a report by the UK-based Copernicus Atmosphere Monitoring Service. The report says droughts and heat waves have triggered several wildfires in these countries this year. The Bolivian government has declared an emergency after floods across the country killed 40 people. The disaster has also forced more than 500 families to evacuate in the country's Amazon region. Many residents have been using boats for transportation. Officials say rainfall in February has been the highest in Bolivia over the last few decades. Heavy rainfall has triggered flash floods in the north of Italy as well. In the northern town of Montebello, firefighters airlifted dozens of stranded people to safety. Authorities have carried out nearly 150 rescue operations in the town so far. India's weather department has predicted intense snow and rain for its northern regions till the 2nd of March. An orange alert has been issued for Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. Meanwhile, Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh will likely witness hailstorms for the next 2 days. Mexico City is facing a water crisis fueled by an ongoing national drought. In the municipality of Iztapalapa, authorities bring water to residents every 8th day. However, locals say they have not received water for the past 3 weeks. Officials say the El Nino weather pattern and heat waves have intensified drought conditions in the city. On to business and tech news. China has rolled over a $2 billion loan to Pakistan. This is as per the country's caretaker finance minister Shamshad Akhtar. Cash-strapped Pakistan had borrowed $2 billion from China at an interest rate of 7.1%. As per reports, the loan was due in March. This date has now been extended by a year. Savion, the US solar unit of Shell, has reportedly put around a quarter of its assets up for sale. This includes up to 10.6 gigawatts of solar generation and storage capacity assets. This comes as the oil giant is trying to retreat from renewable energy projects. Last year, Savion said that it wanted to focus on projects which it could sell rather than holding the assets for years. Cryptocurrency exchange Gemini will return over $1 billion to its Earn investment program customers. The program allowed users to loan out their cryptocurrency and earn interest payments in return. It was shut down after the crypto market crash in 2022. Customer refunds are part of Gemini's settlement plan with New York's financial regulator. The firm has also been fined $37 million by the regulator. The US has reportedly launched a probe on health insurance provider United Health Group. The group owns Optum Health Services, which provides a range of healthcare solutions. This includes pharmacy benefit management and financial consultation. Optum also owns medical groups which has teams of doctors. The investigation is to look into how United Health owning a doctors group may have affected its competitors. Fast food chain Wendy's has said it has no plans to raise prices. This comes after the firm faced backlash on social media for suggesting that it would apply dynamic pricing. Dynamic pricing refers to price rise based on demand, especially during peak hours of the day. Earlier this month, Wendy's CEO Kirk Tanner said that from next year, the firm will test dynamic pricing at its outlets. Walt Disney is merging its Indian unit with Reliance Industries. The combined entity will create a $8.5 billion joint venture. This will include TV and streaming assets of Reliance's Viacom 18 and Disney's Star India. Reliance Industries will also inject $1.4 billion into the merged entity, and it will also lead the firm with over 63% stake. India is reportedly set to approve billions of dollars in subsidies for Israeli semiconductor firm Tower. The chipmaker has proposed establishing a $9 to $10 billion manufacturing unit in the country. The Indian government is providing subsidies for firms to set up chip manufacturing plants in the country. The scheme covers up to 50% of the project cost. 32 European media firms, including Germany's Axel Springer, have filed a lawsuit against Google. Media firms accuse Google of engaging in harmful digital advertising practices and causing significant losses to their income. Media companies are demanding over $2.3 billion in damages from the tech giant. Apple CEO Tim Cook has said that the firm will disclose more about its artificial intelligence plan later this year. Cook told the firm's investors yesterday that the company is investing significantly in generative AI. They see incredible breakthrough potential in the area. Meanwhile, Meta is reportedly planning to launch a new version of its artificial intelligence model. The firm plans to launch the large language model Meta AI 3 or Llama 3 in July. Today, Meta's chatbot on its social media platforms only answers non-controversial questions. The new version will reportedly provide context to queries that it deems controversial. Moving to sports and cricket, India's cricket board revealed the men's central contracts for cricketers for the 2023-24 season. Two key players, Ishan Kishan and Shreyas Iyer, were dropped from the annual player contracts list. Meanwhile, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Jasprit Bumrah and Ravindra Jadeja have retained their contracts and will be the top earners. India's rising batting sensation Yashasvi Jaiswal closed in on the top 10 in the ICC rankings for test batters. He jumped 3 spots and now stands at the 12th spot. Jaiswal's consistent performances in the England Test series led him to attain his career best ranking. Sri Lanka have named a 17-member squad for the T20 international leg of their Bangladesh tour. Charit Asalanka has been named the acting captain for the side's first 2 matches. Sri Lanka's regular choice of captain, Wanindu Hasaranga, is banned for those matches. This was due to a run-in he had with an umpire during a match with Afghanistan. In football, Cristiano Ronaldo has been suspended for a match. This is for making an alleged offensive gesture during a Saudi Arabia League game. His actions were captured in a video posted online. Ronaldo will have to pay a fine of $2,666 to Saudi football. Japan's women's football team secured their Paris Olympics spot yesterday. They beat South Korea 2-1 at the National Stadium in Tokyo in the qualifiers. Goals from Hana Takahashi and Aoboa Fujino gave the Japanese a 2-goal lead. This means Japan takes one of Asia's 2 spots at the Olympics. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia's mission of being a global sporting hub continues. Reports say Saudi Pro League is eyeing top Premier League footballers. Established players like Mohamed Salah, Kevin De Bruyne are all on its radar for next season. Saudi clubs are bracing for another huge raid on the Premier League this summer. In tennis, the ATP Tour and Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, or the PIF, have signed a multi-year strategic partnership. This was announced by the men's governing body of tennis yesterday. ATP rankings plus the year-end World No. 1 award will now be named after the PIF. Grand Slam champion Andy Murray said he's unlikely to play past the summer. This comes after his loss at the Dubai Championships to fifth-seeded Ugo Humbert. Murray had earlier dropped a retirement hint after winning the first round. In Formula One, Red Bull boss Christian Horner has been cleared of all the charges of misconduct. He will continue to serve as the team principal. Red Bull's parent company launched a probe earlier this month after a female colleague accused Horner of inappropriate behavior. Beijing will be hosting the World Athletics Championships in 2027. The World Athletics Council selected the city at a meeting in Glasgow. This will be the second time Beijing will be organizing the tournament after 2015. It has also hosted 2 editions of the Olympics before. Now for news from the world of entertainment. At this year's Oscars ceremony, all the 5 songs that have been nominated for the original song category will be performed by their respective artists. The lineup will include performances by Ryan Gosling, Billie Eilish and Osage singers. The ceremony is scheduled to take place on the 10th of March. South Korean singer Hwang Min-hyun will enlist for his military service on the 21st of March. Before starting his tour of duty, he will need to complete training. His agency requested that his fans not visit the site of his service. Hwang Min-hyun is the lead vocalist of the South Korean boy group NU'EST. Actor Alan Ritchson revealed that he passed on the chance to play the role of Thor. He had said in an interview that he didn't take the opportunity seriously. The actor thought no one cared about acting but looks. He was rejected because he failed to demonstrate his craft. Eventually, the MCU passed on the role of the Thunder God to Chris Hemsworth. The house of French film actor Alain Delon was raided by the police. The officials found 72 firearms in the house and seized them. Additionally, they also got 3,000 rounds of ammunition. The police say the actor has no authorization to own firearms like this. Euphoria's Hunter Schafer was arrested in New York for a pro-Palestine protest. According to reports, the police arrested 50 others along with her. The protest allegedly disrupted U.S. President Joe Biden's event at a late-night show with Seth Meyers. The protesters emphasized on the need for a ceasefire in the Gaza Strip. Actors Stephen Amell and Robbie Amell have been roped in to star in the upcoming sequel of Code 8. The film's story revolves around a group of human beings who possess superpowers. Streaming giant Netflix has acquired the rights to the sequel. Actors Nick Offerman and Betty Gilpin have joined the cast of the drama series Death by Lightning. The Netflix series is about the assassination of U.S. President James Garfield. Gilpin will star as the First Lady, while Offerman will step into the shoes of the Vice President. The story is based on the novel Destiny of the Republic. A horror film titled Vicious, starring Dakota Fanning, is under production. The film is being produced by Paramount Pictures. The story will feature Fanning as a woman who slips inside a rabbit hole, struggling for her life. The film is slated to release next year. The trailer for the upcoming film The Watchers was released yesterday. The horror film is based on a gothic horror novel by A.H. Shine. The story follows an artist who gets trapped in a forest in Ireland. The film is slated for release on the 7th of June in North America. Canadian singer and songwriter Kat Janis has passed away. The 31-year-old singer was battling cancer. She was diagnosed with a rare type of cancer that affects bones and soft tissues. According to her brother, some of her work will be released at a later date.